let's look at another one of these Gauss sums. I'm just going to give myself a little bit more space here. This problem is going to be a little bit harder because this one wants just the odd natural numbers. Up here at the top, I used all of the natural numbers. When I'm using all of the natural numbers, it was really easy. I guess I erased that. To say there were 100 natural numbers up to the number 100. This time, since I'm not using all of them, it's going to be a little bit more tricky to figure out those number of terms. So we'll take a little pause when we get to that part. So if I'm adding the odd natural numbers, that means I'm not going to have numbers like 2, 4, 6. And they've got to go all the way up to 108. Now 108 is not odd, so I'm not going to include it, but it's all those odd natural numbers all the way up to 108. So my smallest number is 1, my biggest number is 107. So when I go to flip it, I need 107 to be what I start with. The end becomes the beginning becomes the end. Sometimes it's tempting to put like to put 107, 109, 111 there. We have to make sure that this 107 matches up with that 107. Again, it doesn't matter how many numbers you actually show me, as long as you've got that 1 and the 107 lining up. I'm going to add these. So again, I get 2s. We always get 2s there. And each one of these columns adds up to 108. Some people feel more confident than others in skipping steps. Some people can go straight down to this step with the 2s is equal to all these 108s. You can skip steps if you want. All I ask is that you do show some work. You cannot get credit for a question if you don't show work on exams. So you have to show work on exams to get credit for your problem, even if you get the right answer. So 2s is equal to 108, and I need to figure out this number of terms. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to figure that out. There's a little formula to help me with this, and we're going to see it again when we get to section 1.2. You take the last number minus the first number. You divide that by what you're skip counting by, and then you add 1 after you do all of that other stuff. And this would have worked for that second example that I did up here. I just didn't have to do it because I wasn't skip counting. But technically, I could do it every single time. I just took a shortcut and decided I don't have to do the formula, so I'm not going to. But when I am skipping numbers, skipped all the even numbers in this case, like 2 and 4, I have to do this. The highest number in my list was 107. Remember, those are the ones I circled. So 107 minus 1. I'm counting by 2's, I should say. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. 103 plus 2 is 105. Another 2 more is 107 is what I'm adding to get to the next number. And then I add 1 at the end. So I do that whole fraction. 107 minus 1 is 106. Divided by 2 is 53. Then plus 1 is 54. So that's going to give me, I'm just going to, again, erase that up here. That's going to give me 2s is equal to 5,832. And then, doing my little bit of algebra, I'm going to divide by 2 and get my answer of 2,916. Now, I have another problem. I'm going to skip over to it. So if we look down here, if we skip a page over, I've got one for you to try. So before we look at these other problems, I would like for you to give this one a shot. All right? So please pause the video, give it a shot, and then come back to the video. It really helps in math if you give something a try before you just watch me do it. There are stages to math. We have to watch it. then you need to try it with some help, like with my video, before you go try a problem on your own in the homework. So really and truly, when I ask you to pause and try a problem, it is in your best interest to actually do it, because I want you to learn, and I think this is the best way that you can really learn these. So go ahead and give it a pause. When you're ready, come back to the video. All right, so hopefully you gave it a shot. I did not put all the numbers in there on purpose. If you want to add some more numbers to the end, you could. Like I could say 118 plus 119 plus 120. You don't have to, but that's something that you can do. You cannot go over 120. 120 and 25 are my special numbers. They're my biggest and my smallest. They're the ones that I'm going to be using in that formula. So I have to make sure that 25 and 120 line up together. So when I go to add these columns, I'm going to get 145 each time. So 2s is equal to 145, and I have to figure out the number of terms. So the number of terms is the largest number minus the smallest number. This time I'm not skipping anything. I'm just adding 1. So I can put it there. Or if you want to leave it off, you can. That's fine. You cannot leave off the plus 1. So 120 minus 25 is going to give me 95. Divided by 1 is 95. Plus 1 is 96. And then I'm going to have 145 times 96. So 2s is going to be equal to 13,920. My last step is to divide by 2. And I get 6,960 for my sum. Hopefully you made some progress with this one working on your own, but feel free to try one of these other problems again. And there's also some for you to practice in my math lab for the homework.